कुंज बिहारी जय जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनव यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जगतगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we are reciting 10th canto. This is chapter 46 and this is text 5. mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ। mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ। Matajis. mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ mayi mayi tāh preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ mayi, I, tāh, de, preyasāṁ, of all objects of endearment. Preṣṭhe, the most dear. Dūra-sthe, being far away. Gokula-striyaḥ, the women of Gokul. Smarantyaḥ, remembering. Aṅga, dear Uddhava. Vimuhyanti, become stunned. Viraha, of separation. Autkaṇṭhya, by the anxiety. Vihvalāḥ, overwhelmed. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. My dear Uddhava, for those women of Gokul, I am the most cherished object of love. Thus, when they remember me, who am so far away, they are overwhelmed by the anxiety of separation. Purport. Whatever is dear to us becomes an object of our possessiveness. Ultimately, the most dear object is our very soul or our self. Thus, things in a favorable relationship to ourself also become dear to us, and we try to possess them. According to Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī, among countless millions of such dear things, Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the most dear of all, even dearer than one's own self. The gopīs had realized this fact, and thus they were stunned in separation from the Lord because of their intense love for Him. Although they would have given up their lives, they were kept alive by the Lord's transcendental potency. Hare Krishna. So, I offer my respects to all the Vaishnavas who have assembled here. The topic is very exalted. The subject matter is very, very exalted. And I feel myself utterly disqualified to be speaking on this. But as a service to all the Vaishnavas, to Sri Guru, we will try to discuss some of these things which are discussed here in this chapter. And I hope and beg the mercy of all the Vaishnavas who have assembled here, so that I'll be able to speak according to what is given by our acharyas. So this 46th chapter is named as Uddhava visits Vrindavan. Sri Uddhava, who is a dear friend of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, he is going to visit Vrindavan from Mathura. Krishna is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan. Sri Rupa Goswami has written a very beautiful book called Uddhava Sandesh, where he presents this entire section of how Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan. There Sri Rupa Goswami says that once when Sri Kṛṣṇa was present in Mathura, he was standing on the rooftop pavilion of his palace, gazing at the Mathura. And as he was gazing at the city of Mathura, which was endowed with great wealth, Sri Kṛṣṇa starts to think of Gokul. He starts to think of the pastimes and all the Vrajvasis that he left them and he came to reside in Mathura. As Krishna starts to think of the Gokul, his heart starts to tremble. His whole body starts to tremble. His heart starts to palpitate. And he is unable to bear the separation from the Vrindavan Vasis. Tears start flowing down from his eyes. And in this condition, where Śrī Kṛṣṇa is himself overwhelmed in love of the Vrajvasis, remembering their love, Uddhava sees Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Krishna calls Uddhava. But because his voice is completely choked up, remembering the love of the Vrajvasis, Krishna is not able to speak anything to Uddhava. Uddhava is a dear devotee of Krishna. He knows the heart of Krishna, and therefore Uddhava could understand that what's going on. Krishna held the hand of Sri Uddhava, and as spoken in the first verse, in the third verse of this chapter, Krishna spoke to Uddhava. Gaccha Uddhava vrajam saumya pitrorna pritimavahan gopīnām madviyogadhim mat sandeshair vimochaya. Krishna tells Uddhava, Uddhava, please go to Vrindavan. Gaccha Uddhava vrajam saumya pitrorna pritimavahan. Why you should go to Vrindavan? Because my parents, they are feeling extreme separation from me. Nanda and Yashoda, they are feeling extreme separation from me, and therefore give pleasure to them by giving my message. So this was still okay for Uddhava. Said, okay, I will go to Vrindavan, I will give pleasure to your parents. But then Krishna says, Gopīnām madviyogadhim mat sandeshair vimochaya. Also give my messages to the Vraj gopis of Vrindavan. And by giving my message, you take away their pain of separation also. So Uddhava is a very dear devotee of Krishna. He knows the heart of Krishna. He says to Krishna, Krishna, I understand that you have relationship with your mother and father. You have relationship with Nanda and Yashoda, it is understood, but who are these Vraj gopis? What relationship you have with the Vraj gopis? And when Uddhava asked this question, Krishna, to help Uddhava understand the position of the Vraj gopis, Krishna starts speaking the glories of the Vraj gopis in these verses. So from third verse, you'll find there are 4 verses spoken here, which are spoken in glorification of the Vraj gopis. Krishna is trying to help Uddhava understand the actual position of the Vraj gopis. Why Krishna is telling Uddhava to go and meet the Vraj gopis. In the third verse, Krishna says, Gaccha Uddhava vrajam saumya pitror nah pritim avahan. You can give pleasure to my mother and father Nanda and Yashoda. But for the Vraj gopis, Krishna doesn't say you can give pleasure to the Vraj gopis. Oh Uddhava, Vraj gopis are so exalted that even if you give my message, you will not be able to give pleasure to them. Therefore, just help them maintain their life till the time I return to Vrindavan. This was the message that Krishna wanted to give. So Uddhava is the best of all devotee of Krishna. In the first verse of this chapter, Sri Shukadeva Goswami gives the introduction to Uddhava. Vrishninam pravaro mantri Krishnasya daita sakha Shishyo brihaspati sakshad Uddhava buddhi sattama. In 4 lines, Sri Shukadeva Goswami is giving titles after titles to Uddhava. You can just imagine how many designations Shukadeva Goswami is giving in one verse. He says, Uddhava, who is Uddhava? Uddhava is Vrishninam Pravara. He is the best of all Vrishnis. He is Vrishninam Pravara, Vrishninam Mantri. He is also the Mantri of the Vrishnis. Mantri means he gives mantrana, he gives advice even to the Vrishnis. Krishnasya Daita, he is very dear to Krishna. And Krishnasya Sakha, he is very dear friend of Krishna. And Uddhava Buddhi Sattama, he is very, very intelligent. Then Sishyo Brihaspati Sakshat, He has gained all the knowledge of the Vedic literature. In fact, he also read Srimad Bhagavatam from Sakshat Brihaspati, directly from Brihaspati. Now you can understand the intelligence of Uddhava. So Uddhava is the best devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. One time Srila Prabhupada, when he was traveling in Europe, at different places, at different temples he was lecturing. He was lecturing at one temple and he said, he was lecturing on 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he said that Prahlad Maharaj is the best devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. He went to a different temple. Prabhupada was lecturing on some other subject matter. He said Yudhishthir is the best devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Prabhupada went to another temple and he said Uddhava is the best devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. One devotee who was accompanying Prabhupada, he got confused. He went to Prabhupada and he asked, Prabhupada, I heard you in 3 temples, you are telling 3 devotees are best devotees of Krishna. Who is the best devotee of Krishna? Prabhupada said that in spiritual world, everybody is the best devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. But Uddhava is the best of the best of the best devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. And this is the conclusion of Brihad Bhagavatamrita also. Uddhava is the best devotee of Krishna. And therefore, Krishna is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan. Why? There are many reasons. Our acharyas explained why Krishna is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan. The first reason is Uddhava is Daita Sakha. He is very dear to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. He is very dear friend of Krishna, and as a friend, Uddhava understands the heart of Krishna very well. The first reason. And therefore, whatever is there in heart of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, that can be explained to the Vrajvasis in the best possible way by Śrī Uddhava, and therefore Śrī Kṛṣṇa is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan. This is the first reason. The second reason why Krishna is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan, because he is Buddhi Sattama. These are the qualifications. Buddhi Sattama means he is very intelligent. And because Uddhava is the most intelligent devotee of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, only he will be able to give some consolation to the Vrajvasis who are dying in separation from Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, Buddhi Sattama. This is the second reason. The third reason, Krishna sends Uddhava because Uddhava is so dear to Krishna. Krishna wants to show that Uddhava, you have been thinking that you have achieved Krishna Prem. But you have not seen that most exalted love of the Vrajvasis. And to help Uddhava appreciate the love of the Vrajvasis, Krishna is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan. Gacha Uddhava Vrajam Soumya. Go to Vrindavan and see the love of the Vrajvasis. Then you will understand what is the most exalted love for Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, this is the third reason. And the fourth reason why Krishna is sending Uddhava is because through Uddhava, Krishna wants to establish the most exalted position of the gopīs of Vrindavan. Who is Uddhava? Uddhava is said in the verse, he is Sishyo Brihaspati Sakshat. He has learned Srimad Bhagavatam from Brihaspati. He is the most learned in the entire universe. Now imagine if Uddhava goes to Vrindavan and he sees the love of the Vrajvasis and he starts to glorify the Vrajvasis, the whole world will take note of it. The entire universe will take note of it that yes, the Vraj gopīs are the most exalted devotee of Krishna. And therefore when Uddhava went to Vrindavan, when he saw the love of Vrajvasis, he prayed in 6 verses. Vande Nanda Vrajastrinam Padarenu Abhikshnashah Yasham Mahatkathodgitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. Uddhava prays that, oh Vraj gopīs, please give me Vande Nanda Vrajastrinam, please give me the dust of your lotus feet. He says, Vande Nanda Vrajastrinam Pad Renu. Renu means only one speck of dust. One particle of dust is desired by Uddhava. He is not saying Natu Renavaha. Just one speck of dust. Asam aho charan renu jusham aham shyam Vrindavane kimapi gulma latoshadinam Ya dustyajam swajanam arya patham cha hitva bhejur mukunda padavim shrutibhir vimrigyam. Uddhava prays that Vraj Gopis, I want to become a creeper in Vrindavan so that I will be able to get the dust of lotus feet of these Vraj Gopis. And in ecstatic love, Uddhava says that these Vraj Gopis are even more exalted than Lakshmi. Nayam Shriyongo Nitanta Rateh Prasada Swarayoshitam Nalina Gandharucham Kutunya. That exalted position of the Vraj Gopis, the fortune that they attained being with Śrī Kṛṣṇa in Vrindavan was not attained by anyone else. The Vraj Gopis got to hold the hand of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Śrī Kṛṣṇa would put his hand on the shoulders of the Vraj Gopis, and in the Rasa Leela he danced. Krishna, the Paratpar Parabrahma, he danced with these Vraj Gopis, these uneducated cowherd girls of Vrindavan. Who can fathom the position of the Vraj Gopis? When Uddhava prayed like this, the entire universe understood that Vraj Gopis are the most exalted devotee of Krishna. And therefore, through Uddhava, Krishna wants to establish this position of the Vraj Gopis. And therefore, he is sending Uddhava. So, this entire 2 chapters, the 46th and the 47th chapter, is the discussion where Uddhava visits Vrindavan. He meets the Vrajvasis, he sees the love of the Vrajvasis, he glorifies the Vrajvasis, he stays with them, he consoles them, he does Krishna Katha, and their heart gets solaced, who are dying, who are burning in the pain of separation, these Vrajvasis. And this is the most exalted section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sriman Mahaprabhu, when he appeared, what is the reason for his appearance? In the Adi Leela 4th chapter, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that the external reason for Mahaprabhu's appearance was that he wanted to establish the Sankirtan movement. That was one of the reasons. But the internal reason for Mahaprabhu's appearance, that Mahaprabhu wanted to taste the love of Srimati Radharani. And what is that love? Radhikara bhave yaiche Uddhava darshane sei bhava mata prabhu rahe ratri dine. Shriman Mahaprabhu wanted to taste the love of Srimati Radharani. What love? Radhikara bhave yaiche Uddhava darshane. That love which Srimati Radharani exhibited in Vrindavan when Uddhava visited Vrindavan. So now we can understand the exalted position of this topic. Mahaprabhu came to taste this love. Sei bhava matta prabhu rahe ratri dine. Shriman Mahaprabhu was constantly, he was speaking deliriously, he was acting like a madman in his Antalila. So you can try to understand, we can understand this exalted position. Srimati Radharani's love is explained in 3 phases. Sri Radhika's love, the first phase of Sri Radhika's love, where Sri Radhika's Swarup, her form is called Samyogini Radha. Samyogini Radha means when Sri Radhika is meeting with Krishna and the love is getting exhibited in the meeting, that is called Samyogini Radha. The love when Sri Radhika is meeting with Sri Krishna, that is one kind of love. The second kind of love of Sri Radhika is exhibited, that is called Viyogini Radha. Viyogini Radha means when Sri Radhika is separated from Sri Krishna, when Krishna goes to herd cows in Vrindavan, and when at that moment Sri Radharani feels that separation from Krishna, that love is called Viyogini Radha's love. But the third love, the most exalted exhibition of Srimati Radharani's love is Unmadini Radha. And that love was exhibited when Krishna went to Mathura and when Uddhava came to Vrindavan. And then Uddhava saw that most exalted love of Srimati Radharani. That is called Unmad. Unmad means it's a transcendental madness. So that is the love which Shriman Mahaprabhu wanted to taste. So therefore Mahaprabhu also did pastimes in 3 phases. The first phase of Sriman Mahaprabhu's pastime is in Navadvip, where Mahaprabhu is experiencing the love of Samyogini Radha. Where Sriman Mahaprabhu, where Gaura and Gadadhar, they come together and Mahaprabhu experiences the love of Samyogini Radha. But that exhibition of love was only for few years. Then Mahaprabhu takes sannyas and he goes for preaching work in the South India. And that is when Mahaprabhu is experiencing the love of Viyogini Radha in separation from Krishna. And therefore Mahaprabhu, when he is traveling in South India, he is singing Krishna, 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 Hey, Krishna, 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 Hey, Krishna, 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 Raksha Mam. Krishna, 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 Pahi Mam. Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Raksha Mam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam. So that is when Mahaprabhu is in separation from Srimati Radharani, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. That is Viyogini Radha's love. That was only for 6 years. But when Mahaprabhu, after his preaching work, he came to Jagannath Puri. For 18 long years, Mahaprabhu in Gambhira Leela, he is experiencing the love of Shri Radhika as Unmadini Radha, where the madness of Mahaprabhu was exhibited. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita was written specifically only for this purpose. To show the world the madness of Sriman Mahaprabhu, to show the world the most exalted position of Srimati Radharani, the most exalted love of Srimati Radharani through Sriman Mahaprabhu. And this is why these two chapters, the 46th and the 47th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, is the most exalted. And if somebody wants to understand these two chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, one has to take shelter of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Without Mahaprabhu's mercy, we cannot understand these two chapters. So no matter which sampradaya we are in, no matter which sampradaya is going to read Srimad Bhagavatam, if he does not take shelter of Sriman Mahaprabhu, if he does not understand Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is complementing Srimad Bhagavatam, one will never be able to understand these words which are spoken by Krishna, which are spoken by the gopīs, which are spoken by Uddhava. Therefore, it becomes very important for us to read Srimad Bhagavatam with Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Chaitanya Charitamrita complements Srimad Bhagavatam. It is a commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, in 4 verses here in this section, Krishna is glorifying the Vraj gopīs. Krishna first says, Gacha Uddhava Vrajam Saumya. Uddhava, go to Vrindavan. And when Uddhava asks about the Vraj gopīs, he says that Krishna, I understand you have relationship with your mother and father, but what relationship with you have with these cowherd girls? It's very natural for any person to ask this question. And therefore, Sri Sanatana Goswami explains that in 2 verses, the first 2 verses, Shri Krishna explains the general idea or the general description of the love of the Vraj gopīs. And the next 2 verses, the 5th and the 6th verse, that is describing that is having special description, the special description of the love of the Vraj gopīs. Why? Because when Krishna starts speaking about the gopīs, in the beginning, Krishna is speaking that these Vraj gopīs have intense love for me. But as Krishna starts to remember the love of the Vraj gopīs, his mood intensifies. And as his mood intensifies, the next 2 verses is explaining about the most exalted position, where he is saying that Dharayanta Atikritshreṇa, these Vraj gopīs, Uddhava immediately go to Vrindavan, because these Vraj gopīs, they can give up their life at any moment. And Krishna became ecstatic. Tears starts rolling down his eyes and he became ecstatic, describing the position of the Raj Gopis. And therefore 2 verses, 3 and 4, is describing the general description of the love of Raj Gopis, but 5 and 6 is giving special description of their love. And Krishna is saying, Uddhava, go to Vrindavan and vimochaya, mat sandeshair vimochaya. Give my messages to these Raj Gopis and relieve them of their pain of separation. Krishna says, Visheshena mochaya. Mochaya means to open up. The heart of the Braj Gopis, it is tied up, it is bound. There is a knot of love which is bound in their heart, the knot of separation. There is intense separation and intense pain in the heart of the Raj Gopis. Oh Uddhava, go and open up that knot. Give my messages. And messages means, here, our Acharyas explain that messages means you cannot give just one message and you will be able to give solace to the Braj Gopis. Give numerous messages and then you will be able to give some solace to these Braj Gopis. Therefore he says, Mat Shandeshair Vimochaya. This is the most exalted position of these Braj Gopis. Krishna says to Uddhava, Uddhava, these Braj Gopis, their heart resides in me. My heart resides in the Braj Gopis and their heart resides in me. Even for simple devotees, Krishna has spoken in the 9th canto, Sadhunam hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tvaham. That the sadhus' heart reside in me and I reside in their heart. Now, Krishna is saying, Uddhava, these Braj Gopis, they are feeling intense pain of separation in their heart. Their heart is burning out of separation. And because I reside in their heart, therefore I am also burning because their heart is burning. Therefore go. Go and give solace. These Braj Gopis have given tyakta lok dharmasya. They have given up everything for me. They have given up their children. They have given up their husbands. Pati sutanvaya Bhratrirbandhavan ati vilanghyate tachyuta gata gati vidastavod gita mohita kitavayo shitaha kastyajen nishi. So he is saying, Krishna says here, that ye tyakta lok dharmasya madarthe tan bibhar me ham, in the 4th verse. He is saying that they have given up everything for me. And for normal devotees who give up their family for me, I maintain them. What to speak of these Braj Gopis? Will I not maintain them? So in these verses, Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself is glorifying the Braj Gopis. One Acharya points out that why is Krishna glorifying the Braj Gopis? He says that Krishna is eternally indebted to these Braj Gopis. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajam meham. That I reciprocate with whatever a devotee offers me, I reciprocate with them accordingly. But in case of Braj Gopis, did Krishna reciprocate? Could he reciprocate? He could not. He failed to reciprocate, and therefore in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Krishna says that na parayeham niravadya sanyuja swasadhu krityam vibudhayushapivah. O gopis, I cannot pay the debt of love that you have given to me. I cannot repay the debt. Even if I get the lifetime of Brahma and I try to repay the debt that I have towards you, I will not be able to do that. And therefore, if a person, he gets indebted to someone, what happens? First thing he does, that he starts running away from that person. Imagine if you have taken money from some person and you cannot repay him back, what will you do? You will run away. And therefore, our acharyas say that Krishna wanted to run away. He could not face the Braj Gopis, therefore he ran away to Mathura. And now, the Braj Gopis said that Krishna, you cannot repay us, no problem. It's fine, we forgive you. And imagine if somebody who cannot repay the debt, and the person, he says, no problem, don't worry about it. What happens? That person in his heart, he will have such gratitude for that person. He will start glorifying their magnanimity all over the world. Whoever he meets, he will say, do you know that person? He is so magnanimous, he gave me so much, I could not repay him back, and still he forgave me. And therefore Krishna, he could not repay the love of the Vraj gopis, he is not able to repay, therefore he ran away to Mathura, and when he ran away to Mathura, gopis forgave. And now Krishna is, through his own mouth, he wants to glorify the Vraj gopis, that these Vraj gopis have such love for me. So this is why Krishna is glorifying the Vraj gopis. This section is so important that Sri Rupa Goswami dedicates two literature specifically only for this section, Hans Doot and Uddhava Sandesh. So two literatures by Rupa Goswami is dedicated only for this subject matter. So therefore very important verse here, the 5th verse, where Krishna is saying, mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe dūra-sthe gokula-striyaḥ smarantyo aṅga vimuhyanti virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ. Krishna is saying to Uddhava that, O Uddhava, mayi preyasāṁ preṣṭhe. Uddhava, who am I? I am preyasāṁ preṣṭhe. I am dearer to everyone. Among all the objects that are dear to a person, I am the most dear of everything. Therefore, I am preyasāṁ preṣṭhe. Among all objects of that a person loves, Krishna is the most exalted object of love. So Krishna is saying, I am the most dear. And that dear, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is dear to everyone, he has gone dūra-sthe. Dūra-sthe means he has gone far away. I have come to Mathura. I am so far away from these Vraj gopis. Here in the Purport, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they write here that what are the objects that are dear to us? There are two objects that are dear to us. One is called mamataspad and another is called ahamtaspad. Ahamtaspad and mamataspad means, mamataspad means those things which belongs to us, they are very dear to us. Like our family, like our home. So these objects are very dear to us. But dearer than those objects is ahamtaspad. We ourselves are very dear to us. But dearer than even Atma is Paramatma, is Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Therefore he is preyasāṁ preṣṭhe. Then he says, dūra-sthe. Krishna is saying, I have come very far from these Vraj gopis. And therefore their love has intensified million folds. You can imagine the position of the Vraj gopis. When Krishna was residing in Vrindavan, and when Krishna would go to herd cows in Vrindavan, the gopis would not be able to bear the separation from Krishna. The blinking of their eyelids, that would cause hindrance in their meeting with Krishna, and they would start cursing Brahmaji. In Gopi Geet, the Vraj gopis, they curse Brahma, that Brahma, why did you create these eyelids for us? You are such a fool. So can you imagine, the blinking of their eyelids would cause so much pain to the Vraj gopis. Now Krishna has gone so far away, they are not able to see Krishna. How much pain that would have been there in their heart. And therefore Krishna is saying, dūra-sthe. I have come very far from these Vraj gopis. Then he says, gokula-striyaḥ. The last word of the first line. That these Vraj gopis, they are gokula-striyaḥ. If Uddhava asks, Krishna, why you are so far? Call all the Vraj gopis to Mathura. Let them come to Mathura and meet with you. Their pain of separation will go away. Krishna says, Uddhava, these Vraj gopis, they are gokula-striyaḥ. They only reside in Vrindavan. They never leave Vrindavan and go to any other place. And their love for me is only in the Shyam Sundar form, in the Mor Mukut form, where I am holding up to the flute. They will never like to see me in a king form. here in Mathura. Their heart will never get solaced even if they come to Mathura. And the gopis also think that we are such uneducated girls of this Vraja. We do not have any qualification. Imagine if thousands and thousands of millions and millions of gopis, they go and meet with Krishna in Mathura, and the gopis say that, where is Krishna? Krishna is our beloved, we have come to meet. What was going to happen? All the Mathura Vasis, they will start talking in Mathura that Krishna, what kind of relationship he had in Vrindavan. These are uneducated girls of Vrindavan. Krishna had relationship with so many girls. By this, Krishna will feel extremely embarrassed. And therefore, gopis thinking like this, although Mathura is very near, they never go to Mathura to meet with Krishna. Therefore, they are gokula-striyaḥ, they will only stay in Gokul. They will not go to any other place. Therefore, you go, Uddhava. They cannot come to Mathura. And smarantyaḥ, hey aṅga, aṅga is a sambodhan. It is, aṅga means very dear. Krishna is saying, hey aṅga, smarantyaḥ vimuhyanti. These gopis, while remembering me, they are getting vishesh muhyanti. They are, while remembering me, they completely faint in ecstasy. They are not able to maintain their consciousness as well. Therefore, he is saying smarantyaḥ vimuhyanti. Sri Sanatana Goswami says that if Uddhava asks that Krishna, if somebody of a devotee remembers you, immediately his pain of separation goes away. So the gopis can also remembering you. They are remembering your pastimes, they are remembering your form, they are remembering you. So there also pain of separation should go away. But Krishna is saying, oh Uddhava, smarantyaḥ, remembering is a secondary characteristic, is a secondary activity of these Vraj gopis. They are not even able to remember me. They start remembering me for a moment, and as soon as some remembrance comes to these Vraj gopis, they faint. And because they faint, if they could at least remember my activities, remember my form, they would have got some solace in their heart. But now they are not even able to remember me. And therefore, smarantyaḥ vimuhyanti. Smarantya is secondary, vimuhyanti, that means fainting is primary. Now, Sri Sanatana Goswami again points out, vimuhyanti is present tense. Present tense means Shri Krishna is saying, Uddhava, at this very moment, by my divya chakshu, I can see all around Vraja that millions and millions of gopis have fainted in ecstasy in Vrindavan. I can see their condition. Uddhava, gacha, go to Vrindavan and save these gopis. They can give up their life at any moment. Therefore, smarantyaḥ vimuhyanti, this is their condition. At this very moment, Krishna through his divya chakshu, he can see the entire Vraja. And when he is seeing the condition of the Vraj gopis, that one gopi is lying down at Yamuna, another gopi is lying down in her house, another gopi is lying down somewhere else in Vrindavan, and millions of gopis who have fainted in ecstasy, they are lying down all around Vraja. And Sri Sanatana Goswami says that some of them have some little consciousness, and in their consciousness they are chanting Krishna Govinda, Krishna Govinda, they are chanting my name. Imagine if Krishna sees that form of the Vraj gopis in Vrindavan, how can he not send messages to the Vraj gopis? And therefore he says, Gacha Uddhava, go to Vrindavan. Virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ, the last word, he says, viraha. Viraha means in separation, they have become vihvala. They are crying. Some of these Vraj gopis, in extreme separation, they are crying for me. Sometimes some of these Vraj gopis, one gopi, he goes to Yamuna, and she is so much in unmad, so much in ecstatic madness, that she forgets that Krishna is not there in Mathura. In extreme separation to meet with Krishna, she goes to Yamuna, puts the pot on her head, and she starts thinking that Krishna would come. She goes and fills her pot. Again and again she fills her pot. She again puts the water down, thinking that sometime Krishna would come. He would take a stone and break my pot, and then I will have some conversation with Krishna. So thinking like this, the Vraj Gopi, one Vraj Gopi, she would go to Yamuna, and thinking of Krishna like this, she would stand all day long in the heat of the sun, thinking that Krishna would come, Krishna would come. Some of these Vraj Gopis, her Sakhis, they will come, Sakhi. You have gone mad or what? Krishna is no more in Vrindavan. He has gone to Mathura. He is not going to come back. Come home, come home. And they will bring her back. Srimati Radharani, sometimes she will feel so much separation from Krishna that she would go to a kunja. She would think that Krishna is still in Vrindavan and he has gone to the kunja of Chandravali. And because he has gone to kunja of Chandravali, he is not coming. And in Iman, she would sit all day long waiting for Krishna. All the gopis, Lalita, Vishakha, everyone would come and try to console. Oh, Shri Radhika, you do not understand. Try to understand. Krishna has gone to Mathura. He is not going to come back anymore. Give up your man. This is transcendental madness of these Vraj Gopis. And therefore he is saying, virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ. They would cry pitifully in separation from Krishna. When Uddhava visited Vrindavan, these Vraj Gopis, they tell Uddhava, please tell Krishna not to come to Vrindavan. Don't tell Krishna that he should not come to Vrindavan now. Why? Because Krishna, he is param komalanga. His body is so soft. How will he be able to bear the condition of Vraja that has come upon us now? What is this condition? Now, it is the nature of love that when a lover is in separation from his beloved, everything which looked favorable to him, favorable to them, while they were meeting, that starts showing opposite nature when there is separation. So, the gopis, for them, the moonlight or the moon of Vrindavan, which would give them extreme amount of ecstasy when Krishna was there in Vrindavan, when the gopis would see the moon and the moon rays, that would give such ecstatic pleasure to the Vraj Gopis that they would be reminded of Krishna. Now the same moon, now that Krishna has gone to Mathura, now the same moon, the gopis feel it is raining fire upon us. So the gopis say that, Uddhava, please tell Krishna that he should not come to Vrindavan anymore. Don't tell him not to come to Vrindavan, because if he comes and if he gets to experience this fire-like rays of the moon, how will he be able to? We are at least able to bear this pain. He will not be able to bear this pain. So they tell that the moon has become, it is raining fire in Vrindavan. Tell Krishna not to come to Vrindavan. The same cooling breeze which would give pleasure to the gopis when Krishna was present, the gopis feel that this cool breeze now for the gopis has become like the breeze of forest fire. It burns their bodies, and therefore they say that tell Krishna how will we be able to bear this burning breeze. Tell him not to come to Vrindavan. The same Yamuna, which by seeing the Yamuna, the gopis would be reminded of the Jal Vihar which they did with Krishna. Now that Krishna has gone, the same Yamuna looked like poison for the Vraj Gopis. Therefore they say, tell Krishna not to come to Vrindavan. The same clothes that they wore only for the pleasure of Krishna, the same clothes, they say that these clothes have become like snakes for us. It is like as if we are wearing clothes all over our body. We are wearing snakes all over our body, and therefore these clothes are also giving us extreme pain. Asana, asana, basana, bis ahisam. One poet writes that these asan, it is like poison, it is like a snake, it is like a snake bed. Therefore tell Krishna not to come to Vrindavan. And the same trees and creepers, which would give pleasure to the Vraj gopis, they would say that these trees and creepers, they have become like hunters for us. It is as if these hunters with a bow in their hand, they are constantly piercing our heart. And if Krishna comes to Vrindavan, he has to experience all of this in Vrindavan. Therefore, Uddhava, please tell Krishna not to come to Vrindavan. And therefore, in this way, the gopis want to tell Krishna that Krishna, immediately come to Vrindavan. It is only because you have gone to Mathura, all of this is happening in Vrindavan. Come to Vrindavan, Krishna, come to Vrindavan. So this is the way, this is the intense mood of separation that the gopis feel. Virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ. This is the intense separation that the gopis feel when Krishna is not there in Vrindavan. And this is the mood of all our acharyas. When our acharyas, when the Shad Goswamis, when they resided in Vrindavan, they tasted this love of the Vraj gopis. Tyaktva turnam shesha mandalapati shrenim sadatuchhava bhutva dina ganesha kau karunaya kopina kanṭhya-shrito gopī bhāvarasamritābhilahari kallolamagno moho vande rupa sanatano raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. So this is the intense love of the Vraj gopis which our acharyas, when they stayed here, Gopī bhāv rasam ritabdhi lahari. In the same mood of Sriman Mahaprabhu, the mood which Sriman Mahaprabhu is tasting in his Gambhira Leela, following in the footsteps of Mahaprabhu, all the Shad Goswamis, while staying in Vrindavan, they tasted this intense love of the Vraj gopis by doing Krishna bhajan in Vrindavan. And this is the ultimate goal of our lives too. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So if there are any questions, I can take some questions or comment. And please forgive me. This is none of this is my words. These are all the words of acharyas that they have given us, their books, their literatures. Srila Prabhupada has given us his Krishna book where all of this is revealed. So if there are any mistakes, please forgive me for that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sriman Venudhar Prabhu, thank you for excellent description and narration. So you explained virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ. So these narrations are so wonderful and soothing to the soul, and our consciousness gets totally absorbed in this. Sometimes the question comes to the mind, are we visible to hear such pastimes? Of course it is there in Srimad Bhagavatam and our acharyas have given. But our viraha is for a line of prasad, our position is such, and here it is description is that virahautkaṇṭhya-vihvalāḥ. So by hearing such pastimes, does these pastimes give us the qualification to have some motion and separations for Krishna like that?
Actually, you are only giving answer. So, yes, it is. Because Srimad Bhagavatam says, Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham ashrita bhajate tadrishi krida yah shrutva tatparo bhavet. In the Rasa Leela, while describing Rasa Leela, Sri Shukadeva Goswami comments that why did Krishna appear on this planet? No, he was well situated in Golok Vrindavan. Why he has to appear here and do all these pastimes? Sri Shukadeva Goswami comments Anugrahaya bhaktanam, because Krishna is very merciful. He wants to show his mercy to devotees like us. Manusham deham ashrita and bhajate tadrishi krida. Whoever chants and hears these pastimes which Krishna performed in Vrindavan, yah shrutva, whoever hears it, tat paro bhavet. Tat paro bhavet means he develops greed to attain the same kind of love which Vrajvasis attained. So Srimad Bhagavatam explains that yes, we may not be that much exalted, but at least these pastimes are given for us to hear. And since it is coming in our discussion, we are not discussing as of now, we are not discussing the first canto, we are discussing the 10th canto. So unless, when it comes in our reading, in our regular reading, if we do not discuss this, how will we ever be able to develop that greed, which our acharyas have promised? So the Shastras promise that by hearing, by approaching with the help of our acharyas, with the help of Srila Prabhupada and his literatures, someday, not today, not tomorrow, maybe someday, at least we can develop that greed that maybe someday I will be able to attain that. So these pastimes, hearing they promise us to help us develop greed for these pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Probably, Srila Prabhupada, he gave everything. The first level where he is cautioning. If you, in the Radharani temple, the Juhu temple, the Dairavasa, the first one is where it cautions. You don't take Ras Leela as a normal Samajik ball dance. It's very essential. And from there to this level, you are discussing now. Of course, that is essential. If the peak of the Mount Everest is not even visible to somebody, how will you target that level? So definitely it's essential. So I'm just saying that, I'm just wondering, from that level to this level, of course, as a society, it's a big responsibility to look at people from that to this. But in this contemporary situation where these things are being so much misunderstood.
Yes.
So, what is your message to basic level pracharas, how to precaution people and then guide them to this level?
Yes, obviously we have Srila Prabhupada's books where Prabhupada has discussed everything, and since we are devotees here, this is a devotee community, we are not discussing this in a outside materialistic situation. So we all have to go through sequentially. We have come to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But it is not that Srila Prabhupada never wanted to give this. If Srila Prabhupada would never wanted to give this, imagine Srila Prabhupada, who cautioned us that we should approach Srimad Bhagavatam sequentially, at the same time he wanted to give this, therefore before writing commentaries, before he finished even commentaries of 7th, 8th canto, 9th canto, he gave us the Krishna book. Because he wanted us to develop greed, and especially devotees who are sitting in Vrindavan. They are very special devotees. They come here, and I believe that they have that mood, and they want to listen, they want to hear, they want to approach the pastimes which are there in Vrindavan. So with that understanding, I tried to discuss some of these things which are given by our Acharya. So we have to approach through Guru Parampara, through Sriman Mahaprabhu, through Chaitanya Charitamrit, not whimsically. That is obviously the. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This suppression of the gopīs, which you mentioned, the activities we are performing in Vrindavan, it's mentioned by the acharyas in which book or where it is mentioned?
It is mentioned in commentaries of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Sanatan Goswami, in his Brihad Vaishnava Toshni, Jeev Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, and Shri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Thakur, they all have mentioned this in their literatures. Specifically, if you want to refer, Hans Dut and Uddhava Sandesh, written by Shri Rupa Goswami, specifically deals with these two chapters, this subject matter.
And regularly when we read this Bhagavatam, these things we cannot come to know unless until we find out from where to get these things.
Yes, I mean, our acharyas have given us everything. Srila Prabhupada has also indicated at several places in Krishna book also. So they have given us everything. Hare Krishna. One more, okay.
Thank you, Guru, for such an explanation, word by word. I wonder, with all these feelings and the explanation that you've given, why conditioned souls don't cry out, don't have tears in their eyes when they listen to this pastime? What type of conditioning is needed, or what type of situation they are going through that this type of explanation doesn't even get tears out? Thank you.
Was that a comment or a question, Prabhuji?
If you can give some thoughts, your thought. Why
Yeah, I think it is explained. It's only because of our offenses. We commit offenses. One thing is that, first thing is tattva vibhrama. One of the anarthas that we have is tattva vibhrama. Śrī Viśvanātha Cakravartī Thakur explains that we do not understand the tattva properly, and then we commit offenses. And because we commit offenses, we cannot relish the nectar which is already present in Srimad Bhagavatam through the words. And once we start getting over these offenses, we have association of great devotees. We sit in their association, we start learning from them, be in their association and do services. Then slowly, I believe, I don't have any experience, but the words of Acharyas say like this, that slowly we can develop some mood to approach these pastimes, and we can develop the things that you're saying, that having tears in our eyes. But someday, at least these discussions are meant to bring some humility in our heart that we are so far away from the destination. At least that will help us. When we sit to chant Hare Krishna, we will understand that the Vraj Gopis' bhav is very exalted. And Mahaprabhu came to give Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. Where are we from the goal? We are nowhere. But at least that humility will help us chant better. So I think in practical scenario, this can help us in that way. And slowly when we get over offenses, one day we'll be able to taste. Should I end it for you? Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.